love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, doing blessed, having a good day, having a good week. Guys, UFC 299. Guys, I've been doing this for a while. I'm telling you, UFC 299 is insane. Now, before we get into breaking down this insane card, this insane pay-per-view, may we look at how badly I got dusted on my last card. Now, I'm going to take my own advice. I've got to take my own advice a little bit more. I roasted Jamie Pickett. You know, I essentially abused him in the breakdown. But then I put some money on Jamie Pickett. And the rest, pure dust. Guys, someone tell me how Ayman Zahabi is doing that. Please tell me. Come on now. Now, let's look at the Money City champions from last week. If you see your name on the screen, you already know. That's money. Pure money. Let's go. First matchup on the card, we've got Maryna Moroz taking on Giant Wood. Now guys, this is a rematch. So if you're somebody that wants to bet on the winner from the first fight in the rematch, in that case the prediction would be Maryna Moroz. However guys, Maryna Moroz does do the OnlyFans. And in my opinion, anytime you get a fighter that does that, they kind of prove that they're not 100% dedicated to mixed martial arts. And obviously if we're putting our money on these matchups week in, week out, we don't want to bet fighters that aren't dedicated. And guys, on the flip side, you've got Joanne Wood, who is pretty good at Muay Thai. Her Muay Thai is good. She'll clinch up. She'll land some knees, land some elbows. But she's also nearly 40 years old. And that's a red flag. So, yeah, there's red flags on both sides, in my opinion. So, guys, in my opinion, like I said, there is red flags on both sides. But if I had to make a pick, if I had to make a bet, I think if Maryna Moroz avoids the clinch, avoids the Muay Thai clinch, you're going to limit the performance of Joanne Wood. You know, you're going to take away the knees, take away the elbows. And those are big scoring weapons for Joanne Wood. So guys, if Maryna can just box, stay out the clinch, she's likely to win the rematch in my opinion. But like I said, there is red flags on both sides. But the pick is going to be Maryna Moroz, the girl that does the only toes. Moving into a matchup between CJ Vergara taking on Azu Almabaev. Very decent matchmaking. And the reason why this one's decent matchmaking, if you look at CJ Vergara, he's an absolute dog. Technically, he's not very good. You may not be the most technical. Let me give you an example. Let's say you go to the gym, right? You may not be the strongest in the gym. You may not have the best genetics in the gym. You may not be the baddest man in the room. But in my opinion, there's no excuse for being outworked. Your work ethic, that's a choice. And I think when you look at CJ Vergara, he does embrace that dog-like mentality. And that allows for him to essentially compete with opponents that are superior in terms of physicality and technicality. So embracing the work ethic, embracing the fact that, look, I'm technically outmatched, but I'm still a dog. I'm still going to work hard. And that's what CJ does. Now guys, here's the thing. Azu Almabaev is technically very good. His wrestling's good, his grappling's good. And that's the exact challenge he's going to bring CJ Vergara this weekend. So essentially, we've got to make a prediction between a high-level wrestler, a high-level grappler, against a dog. An absolute dog. For me personally, guys, I'm going to side with the skill. I'm going to side with the wrestling and grappling of Azu Almabaev. He made me some nice profit against Ode Osbourne. And I'd say, you know, this is a tougher fight based on the fact CJ isn't going to quit. Whereas Ode Osbourne, you know, he gets tired pretty quick. The takedown defense wasn't good. And he basically quit. So my prediction is going to be Azu Almabaev to find a submission. But I'm going to say over 1.5 rounds based on the fact CJ isn't going to quit. Moving into a matchup between Robelis, Despaign taking on Josh Parisian. Now guys, there's really no need for me to waste your time on a matchup like this. If you know anything about Josh Parisian, you know he's cut from the same cloth as Jamie Pickett. He's by far one of the worst fighters to ever put on the 4-ounce UFC glove. Now some people may say, well, the newcomers only had 4 professional fights. Isn't that a red flag? Maybe. But here's the thing. Guys, I would probably bet against Josh Parisian if he was made to fight a drunk fan from the crowd. That's really the level that I'm putting Josh Parisian, right? If Robelis Despaign pulled out of this fight and we said, look, let's pick someone from the crowd. Let's pick a fan. I'd probably line it as a pick'em. You know, you can find a drunk fan, right? I'd line it as a pick'em. Josh Parisian, really, really bad. Terrible. So in my opinion, give me Robelis Despaign. And by the way, this guy's like 6'7", an Olympic Taekwondo medalist. Something like that. You know, this dude's knocking people out. I know he's only had 4 fights. But Josh Parisian, You know, he's a dosser. So give me Robelis Despaign. Moving into a matchup between Philippe Lins taking on Ion Cutelaba. Oh man, good fight. Now guys, here's the thing. We know Cutelaba is an absolute beast. His ability to overwhelm the opponent early in round 1 has always been clear to see throughout his UFC career. However, it's also clear to see that when he doesn't get a round 1 stoppage, he's used so much energy early in the fight. It leaves him really tired going into round 2. And obviously, if you're very tired, it doesn't matter how much power you've got. It doesn't matter how good your wrestling is. It doesn't matter what your skills are. Because now you don't have the energy to use your skills. So guys, Cutelaba doesn't really have the ability to be damaging and effective outside of round 1. Now on the flip side, you've got Philippe Lins, who is pretty average, in my opinion. He is a tough guy though. He'll throw some big punches, he'll clinch up, he'll do most things right in a fight, but he doesn't exactly stand out in one given area. But then again, you don't have to be a specialist against Cutelaba. You've just got to be someone that doesn't get dusted in round 1. So composure, good cardio, good fight IQ, those are important things against Cutelaba. Guys, essentially, if Philippe Lins doesn't get dusted in round 1, he should win the fight. So I think the riskier bet, the riskier pick would be Cutelaba. But man, something's telling me to take Cutelaba, and I'm going to do that. I wouldn't advise betting it though, because like I said, if he doesn't get a round 1 stoppage, the pick potentially turns to dust. It probably turns to dust. But give me Cutelaba. The dude's a beast. Now guys, moving into a matchup between Michel Pereira taking on Michael Oleksiejczuk. And I'm quite confident with my prediction on this matchup. For the brothers in my Discord, we've not spoke about Michel Pereira and Michael Oleksiejczuk. So I'm going to check in with you guys later on to see your opinions on this fight. But my prediction, I'm feeling quite confident. There is one way I can see my prediction turning to dust though, and I feel like most people that have analysed this fight, potentially you're going to come to the same conclusion as myself. Now Michel Pereira, crazy Brazilian. He's got a lot of energy. He likes to do crazy stuff, like jump off the fence, spin, backflips. In Michel Pereira's defence, he has fought quite composed over the last couple fights. From an entertainment perspective, people want to see Michel Pereira do crazy stuff, but from a gambling perspective, I'd much rather see Pereira utilise the teep kick and basically reserve energy. You know, try to fight smart, which he has been doing, right? He has been doing that. But to assume he would do that this weekend on a big pay-per-view card, you know, 50-50. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Now on the flip side, you've got Michael Oleksiejczuk, a Polish boxer who spent most of his career at light heavyweight. He moved down to middleweight about a year and a half ago, and the move's been pretty good. If we look at Oleksiejczuk against Chidian Jokwani in his last fight, dude was getting pieced up. The teep kick, the head kick, the low kick. Chidian Jokwani was dusting up Oleksiejczuk. So guys, I'd say defensively, Oleksiejczuk does need to be better against Michel Pereira. Now guys, the only way I can see Pereira losing against Michael Oleksiejczuk is literally just getting tired. As soon as Pereira gets tired, that's where the fight's no longer contested at kicking distance. Instead, the Polish boxer gets into boxing range, lets his boxing combinations go, and essentially outworks or even stops Michel Pereira. However guys, if Pereira's smart, doesn't do anything crazy, doesn't use a lot of energy, isn't dancing to the octagon on the way to the fight, if Pereira's smart, he should keep Oleksiejczuk at the end of the kicks. Guys, in my opinion, it all comes down to, can Pereira fight smart? That's like the biggest question. So hopefully he does. I'm going to side with the crazy Brazilian. Give me Michel Pereira. Moving into a matchup between Pedro Muhnoz taking on Phillips. Now guys, as we know, Pedro Muhnoz is an elite jiu-jitsu player. His grappling is very good. But over the years, he's moved away from the grappling and basically fallen in love with the striking, specifically the calf kick. Pedro Muhnoz has some of the best calf kicks to this day in the UFC. Now Phillips is also a striker. He's really difficult to read in a fight. And the main reason as to why Phillips is so difficult to compete against on the feet, his footwork is elite. His footwork is so good. The way Phillips flows on the feet, it's a real challenge for the opponent to find the target. And I'm sure that Pedro Muhnoz would find it difficult to find a home for the calf kick, especially against someone like Phillips, who's always on their bike. However, in my opinion, the winner of the fight, it's going to be the person that doesn't get tired. And guys, I know that kind of seems like I'm oversimplifying the matchup. And someone mentioned on my Instagram a couple weeks ago, Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez. It's not as simple as if the fight stays on the feet, Yair Rodriguez wins. If the fight goes to the mat, Brian Ortega wins. But it really was. It really was. That was the reality of the matchup. And guys, in my opinion, the story of the fight, the story I'm going to stick to, The winner of the fight is going to be the guy that has the better cardio, the guy that doesn't get tired first. And the reason as to why I believe that, if Pedro Muhnoz is finding it difficult to find the calf kick early in round 1, imagine how difficult it's going to be in the final round. Whereas if Phillips gets tired first, Pedro Muhnoz is a veteran, heavy calf kicks, heavy hooks, elite grappling. In my opinion though guys, I'm going to side with Phillips because he's like a decade younger than Pedro Muhnoz. So give me the Matrix. Now moving into a matchup between Mateusz Gamrot taking on RDA. And this is a pretty easy prediction to make. But then again, every now and then the easy predictions to make do end up being losing predictions like Javid Basharat. Logically speaking, Gamrot should dominate RDA. He should easily get takedowns. His cardio should be much better. His jab was effective against Fiziev. And Rafael Fiziev is one of the best Muay Thai players in the game. So if Gamrot can stay safe against Fiziev, he should not only stay safe against RDA, he should dominate RDA. You know, RDA's right at the end of his UFC career, so he shouldn't be outworking Gamrot in the grappling. He shouldn't have better cardio. He shouldn't have better footwork. He shouldn't be outworking Gamrot against defense. He shouldn't have faster boxing. All of these things point to Gamrot, not RDA. So yeah, the prediction is going to be Gamrot to dominate the old timer, the veteran, the legend, RDA. Guys, the only weaknesses I could really mention to you with Gamrot would be his chin is kinda dusty. Like Jailton Turner dropped him, Benil Darush dropped him. And I'd also say that he does get takedowns, but he doesn't really secure them. Like he'll get the opponent to the mat, but the opponent can work back to the feet. But these aren't really reasons to pick against Gamrot. You know, Gamrot should still dominate the old-timer RDA. Moving into a matchup between Cerminara taking on Maycee Barber. Now guys, Katyln may have changed her last name, but I'm pretty sure she hasn't changed her fighting style. And if you look at her fighting style, she absolutely loves to punch the air. Guys, if being a champion was based on who could punch the air the most, in that case, Katyln Chookagian or Katyln Cerminara would be the greatest of all time. She would be the GOAT. She loves to punch the air, and as she's punching the air, she'll let you know. She'll make these sounds as she punches the air. But guys, here's the thing. Maycee Barber isn't known for punching the air. She's known for being a bully. She's known for overwhelming the opponent with big power. She's a physical monster. And women's mixed martial arts is primarily decided based on who's more physical, not who can punch the air. So guys, give me Maycee Barber to dust up Katyln Cerminara. I think the only way that Katyln could really challenge Maycee Barber would be to just have a high output. And Katyln always has that. She's always offering a lot of output for the judges. But the judges have to understand that most of what Katlyn's doing isn't effective. It's not damaging. And it shouldn't really be worthy of giving her rounds. Whereas Maycee Barber is effective. She does cause damage. And that should be worthy of winning rounds. So give me Maycee Barber. Now moving into a matchup between Blaydes taking on Jailton Almeida. Now guys, I'm always honest with my assessment, right? I might get the fight right, I might get it wrong, but I want to be honest with my assessment on every single matchup. And some people may look at my breakdowns and say, look, that was harsh. The way you roasted Jamie Pickett, the way you broke down Jamie Pickett's game, that was harsh, right? But I'm not trying to make jokes. I'm just trying to be honest, right? Now Blaydes, in my opinion, he does have the skill to be a champion. His wrestling is extremely good. But in my opinion, what lets down Blaydes is his IQ. His IQ's not great. Guys, do you know how I know that Blaydes has negative IQ points? He tried to box with Pavlovich. Who's doing that? Maybe Tom Aspinall, right? Tom Aspinall's got that. But Blaydes hasn't got that. He's got a dusty jaw. His chin's made of dust. And that's not the only fight that Blaydes has shown to have bad IQ. You can look at his fight against Mark Hunt from years ago. He was trying to box with Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt rocks him and Blaydes is like, okay, I'm a wrestler. You can look at his fight against Derek Lewis. He was winning on the feet and then just level changes into an uppercut. So there's multiple occasions where Blaydes has shown us, look, my skill is good, my IQ, dusty. Now guys, Jailton Almeida is a world-class jiu-jitsu player. His grappling is extremely good. And unlike Blaydes, Jailton Almeida is always looking to do what's best. He gets his opponent to the mat. He's not looking for ground and pound because if he does that, he's going to lose the position. He would rather keep the position on the mat. So the intelligence of Jailton Almeida does seem to be there. And some people may say, well, his say no to violence policy on the mat, it's really boring. And I would agree with that. There's no harm in offering some ground and pound in dominant positions on the mat. However guys, Jailton Almeida just wants to win the round. He wants to find a submission. He wants to do what's best in his mind. And you'd have to say, so far, it's been working for Jailton Almeida. Now guys, here's the thing. Curtis Blaydes has never lost 2 fights in a row. Every time Curtis Blaydes loses, he always goes on a win streak. He's currently coming off a loss. So based on the previous record, the previous history of Curtis Blaydes, he should win this matchup. And there's more evidence as to why Curtis Blaydes should win this matchup. He's a better wrestler. So if Jailton Almeida shoots a takedown against Curtis, Curtis should stop that, get the fight back to the feet, and continue to box with Jailton Almeida. However, guys, my intuition, the spidey senses, it tells me that Curtis Blaydes potentially loses for the first time 2 in a row. But yeah, Curtis Blaydes should win because he's a better wrestler. So if he keeps the fight on the feet, he boxes with Almeida, he wins the fight. But something tells me he's going to do something really stupid in the fight and lose 2 in a row for the first time. So give me Jailton Almeida. Moving into a matchup between Petr Yan taking on Song Yadong. Guys, I've been so conflicted with this matchup. These are 2 of my favourite fighters. Who do we pick? How do you pick this matchup? Now, Song is a Sanda practitioner, which means he's a Chinese kickboxer. His boxing is so fast. It's so technical, so sharp, so effective. He's one of the best boxers in the UFC. And on the flip side, you've got Petr Yan, a Muay Thai player with a real emphasis on his boxing. One of the best fighters in the UFC, despite his fall from grace, hasn't won a fight since October 2021. Now guys, the fact Petr Yan hasn't won a fight since October 2021, it doesn't really do him justice. He's still one of the best fighters in the game. But like I said, picking a matchup between Song Yadong and Petr Yan is super difficult because both of these guys are so talented. They're really good strikers. But guys, after days and days of thinking about this matchup, I found a story and I'm going to stick to this story. In my opinion, I think this fight's going to be 1-1 going into the final 5 minutes. And guys, if I'm right in predicting this matchup is 1-1 heading into the final round, give me Petr Yan. Give me the Russian monster. Give me the Russian monster to end his losing streak in the final 5 minutes in clutch time. And that's coming from someone that picked Sean O'Malley as a massive underdog against Petr Yan. I picked Marab as a massive underdog against Petr Yan. This time round, I'm Team Yan. Final 5 minutes, 1-1. Petr Yan ends the losing streak. Let's go. Moving into a matchup between Gilbert Burns taking on Jack Della Maddalena, aka JDM. Crazy good matchmaking. But here's the thing. It's literally a fight decided based on where the fight takes place. The same type of thing as Ortega and Yair Rodriguez. You may bet on JDM, and round 1 it looks so easy. You may think, you know, this is the easiest bet I could have made on UFC 299, just as people thought with Yair Rodriguez. However, if Burns gets JDM to the mat, you're looking at JDM getting wrapped up like a blunt, smoked up like a blunt. And that's because Gilbert Durinho Burns has elite level grappling. Put it this way, if JDM spent the next 5 years grappling every single day, he still wouldn't be anywhere near as good as Gilbert Burns when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We know that JDM is an elite boxer. His ability to land devastating hooks, you know, it's clear to see. Keeping the matchup on the feet against Gilbert Durinho Burns would be the way to win. Guys, I'm a big fan of both these fighters. When it comes to grappling, there's not many better than Gilbert Durinho Burns. When it comes to boxing, there's not many better than JDM. So it's really a matchup based on where it takes place. Now guys, I've never picked against JDM and I've got to keep that going. Until the wheels fall off, I've got to keep that going. It's like my car. My car is super dusty. Always got to get it checked. But until that car completely gives up, hey, I'll keep that car all day. It's Team JDM until the wheels fall off. Let's go. Moving into a matchup between Kevin Holland taking on MVP Michael Venom Page. Guys, UFC 299. I am hyped. I am hyped for this card. This is one of the best cards. This card is so good. Guys, go to Spotify right now. Put this song on. This song is the representation of UFC 299. Let's go. Now, Michael Venom Page and Kevin Holland. This is a really good matchup because stylistically, they're pretty similar. They're very rangy. And if you look at Michael Venom Page, he's got a 17-2 record over in Bellator. And I know Bellator is like garbage can central. But to have a 17-2 record, that's still pretty impressive. Now, Michael Venom Page, very rangy, very light. He likes to play the striking chess match. And so does the homie, Home Alone, Kevin Holland. You know, he's very rangy. He wants to fight on the feet. He wants to use the 1-2s. He wants to use the teep kick. But guys, stylistically, it does seem like a good matchup for MVP to make his UFC debut. Guys, for me personally, I'm going to side with the underdog MVP, Michael Venom Page. I think it's a good stylistic matchup. You know, the fight's going to stay on the feet. Would Kevin Holland be smart to grapple? You know, use his black belt? Absolutely. But the homie Home Alone, Kevin Holland, he doesn't want to wrestle. He doesn't want to grapple. He would be smart to do so, but he's not gonna. So the matchup's going to stay on the feet. And I think stylistically, it would be a good matchup for MVP making his UFC debut. So give me the underdog, MVP. Moving into the co-main event. And guys, just how insane is this co-main event? Dustin the Diamond Poirier against the God of War, Benoit Saint-Denis. Come on now, this is getting insane. Now guys, Dustin Poirier is clearly the more proven fighter. Dustin Poirier is clearly the better boxer. Dustin Poirier is a fighter that every single mixed martial arts fan on this planet respects. And if you don't respect Dustin Poirier, in my opinion, you're not a fan of mixed martial arts, because Dustin Poirier has fought everyone. He's proven to be one of the best to ever grace the UFC octagon. However, is this a passing of the torch? Is Dustin Poirier going to prove to everyone, how dare you doubt me, against someone like Benoit Saint-Denis, someone that's unproven in comparison to myself? Or is Benoit Saint-Denis going to show Dustin, look, this is my time. This is my time. I'm going to get you to the mat and I'm going to dust you on the mat. And if you stay on the feet, no worries. I'm going to march forward and show you I'm the God of War. I'm going to dust you. Guys, in all fairness, you can justify either side. If you're going to pick Dustin Poirier at plus 200, you're going to make the case, look, Dustin Poirier's proven time and time again, he's one of the best. But if you're going to bet against Dustin Poirier, you may think, look, Dustin Poirier's had a really good UFC career, but he's getting towards the end of his UFC career. And Benoit Saint-Denis is a monster. He's on a tear. He's going to dust the diamond. Guys, for me personally, give me the God of War. Give me Benoit Saint-Denis. And guys, don't miss the co-main event. This isn't going the full 15 minutes. We're going to get to the main event via a stoppage in the co-main. Guys, moving into the main event, we've got Sean O'Malley taking on Marlon Vera, two of my favourite fighters. If we're going to make a prediction based on who's had more success in this fight, because guys, remember, this is a rematch. In the first fight, Marlon Vera cashed as a massive underdog. Now, Sean O'Malley disputes that loss. Right? Sean O'Malley says, nah, that's not a legit loss. But obviously, that's just Sean O'Malley's opinion, right? The reality of the situation is Marlon Vera beat Sean O'Malley. He won that fight, fair and square. Can Marlon Vera do it again? Can he cash as a massive underdog? He absolutely could. He really could. But here's the problem with Marlon Vera. Typically, he loses the early portion of the fight, the exact same thing as Peter Yan. Now, against somebody like Sean O'Malley, you can't really get away with giving up the first portion of the fight. Sean O'Malley is super fast. He's super tricky to deal with, constantly switching stances, constantly giving the opponent different looks. He's cut from the same cloth as a Israel Adesanya. His striking is just insanely advanced. He's not got the one-hitter quitter like Francis Ngannou, but in my opinion, he's more advanced than someone like Francis Ngannou. Sean O'Malley's striking is just so good. He's arguably one of the best strikers in mixed martial arts right now. He might be the most advanced striker in mixed martial arts right now. He might be number one. Now, Marlon Vera isn't as advanced. His kicks are good. He's scrappy. He's super tough. But Marlon Vera is cut from a different cloth, a dog's cloth. He's a scrapper. He's a dog. And the dog typically, like I explained earlier with CJ Vergara, he's outmatched in technicality, but it's his heart, it's his determination, it's his willingness to not be outworked. I believe he's going to get outworked in the early portion of the fight, but it's for Marlon Vera to say, look, I'm maybe 2 rounds down, I'm maybe 3 rounds down, we're going into the championship rounds. Now is the time to make myself a champion. Sean O'Malley's fatiguing. I'm going to take the fight to Sean. I'm going to take his belt. Can he do it? Can he take the title from Sean O'Malley? In my opinion, no. No. Took Sean O'Malley as a big underdog against Peter Yan. Took Sean O'Malley as a big underdog against Aljo. Cash that. Give me some more money. Give me some more money on Sean O'Malley to outclass the dog, Marlon Vera. As always, guys, let me know you're taking in the main event, the co-main event, your straight bets, your money city bets, your big parlays, your doubles. Like my stuff, subscribe, enjoy UFC 299, and as always, keep your eyes to the sky and never glued to your shoes. Peace.